Don, I'm Linda.
Nice to see you. I was reading a little bit about your history, so I'm going to ask you to expand on what I've learned. I know you're kind of having some problems with your work,
I am.
and this has been going on for some while.
Well, I've been there 6 years and it's never really been good, but the last year it started about a year ago, and then the last 6 months have been really, really bad.
And what do you mean by really bad?
The atmosphere in the office, they keep hiring more new people. There's no acknowledgement of the work of the people who've been there a long time. We just keep getting more and more work. I do accounting work, and I'm forced to do it at a reception area, answering the phone, multi-line phone, and we're a secured building. There's a buzzer, and we have multiple tenants in the building, so I have to buzz in the multiple tenants, their clients, and then call back to the tenant and tell them their next client is there, all while trying to do very complicated accounting work, and you're just so fragmented. And it's so stressful, and they keep bringing more people on, paying them more and more money, and I haven't had a raise in 6 years, and I just keep getting more work.
So this job, describe to me you say you have a lot of accounting to do, you're multitasking, they're bringing in new folks
At higher salaries.
At higher salaries. And your supervisors, have you been able to sit and talk with them?
The first year I was there, I asked for an employee evaluation because there was none ever mentioned. And my boss said, "I'll give you an evaluation. You can look for a new job."
And you had a response?
I said, "Ooh, okay." And I've been looking ever since. But you know what the job market's been like. I started there in 2008 with the economy, and I really don't want to commute. I've worked downtown Charleston. I've worked in the Trident Hospital area, and this is 3 blocks from my house. So there is some benefits to it. There's a convenience factor. I can go home for lunch. I can throw a load of clothes in, take meat out for dinner or whatever. So it has its upsides too. It's not, but it's the work environment and it's the volume of work. It's the inequity within the employment system that's really causing me to shut down, I guess, is probably, and I've never been a person who didn't give 110%, but at this point, I can't anymore. I'm just burnt out.
Yeah, well, you appear like you're a little frazzled, and it's difficult to be giving someone 110% and not getting the acknowledgement that you feel that you deserve. When you talk about these folks that are coming in at a higher salary, the schooling or the education, is that?
I think the lights went out.
Excuse me for a second.
They must be motion censored.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, it's real life.
Thank you. It is real life. Let's see if I can get backtrack. You were talking about the folks coming in at a higher salary, and I was curious about the education. What qualifications have they all?
Less qualifications, less experience. I wanted to stay in the accounting area, and a lot of what we do is operations and it's transportation, and they've tried to force me into that role, but offered no pay, and I've been resistant because that's not my area of strength, it's not my area of training, it's not my expertise, and I don't like doing it. When you're not functioning in your natural talents and your training, it feels very awkward and very stressful, and it was already very stressful, so I didn't feel qualified or want to take on scheduling trucks and all that. So I do schedule some trucks, but they're what they call an LTL, which they're not a full truck, so you have a little more time. They're not as time sensitive, so you can manage it a little easier, I guess. But we've been asked over and over to give written job descriptions of what we do, but we're never given written job description. Never had an employee eval in 6 years there, And the only pay raise I've ever gotten was when they converted our bonus system to salary. It wasn't really a raise, it actually, the net income was less, but it became dependable instead of at the whim of, because the bonus wasn't based on performance, it was based on whether the boss was mad or not. So it's been very, very frustrating.
You sound like you have a passion for accounting, working with numbers, and there's community colleges around here. Have you talked to any counselors at any of the schools to see about maybe getting a little bit more education? Is that something that would appeal to you?
I have plenty of education in the accounting world. I have what is almost the equivalent of an MBA, but it's the commuting thing. I don't want to do the commuting thing. Those jobs require either going downtown Charleston, Mount Pleasant. I live in Somerville, and the grind of that undoes the benefit of, so the stress I'm relieved from not commuting is very, very helpful. The grind of driving, and the traffic has gotten worse since 2008. There's more and more cars on the road. It takes longer. Dorchester Road is just backed up big time. The interstate's down half the time with different things, and so I really don't want to have to commute again if I can help it. That's why I kind of stuck it out where I am as long as I have. But I keep looking. I look every week on the job boards and keep my ears and eyes open. Just for whatever reason, I am where I am, and so I just need to cope with it until a door opens somewhere.
When you look at these job offerings, if there was one job that popped out to you and was, this is the one that I want to do, what would that be?
I really like doing business plans and performance where you slice and dice, not just do the input and output of accounting, but you take the accounting and you use it to make business decisions. This quarter versus last quarter, the last 5 years versus next year, the analysis of it and saying, okay, what can we do to improve our performance? Where can we add some services? Where can we cut back on something that's, we're not really making any money. The expenses are almost even, or maybe even more sometimes, and it's called a loss leader. Like you might have some little tiny service you do, but you really don't make any money out of that. You have to look at whether it's bringing in more business into the profit water. I like doing all that analysis, and I'm not getting to do any of that where I am now. I'm just doing the grind of paying the bills, sending out the invoices, processing paperwork, and functioning as a receptionist, which is way below my skill set, and no recognition.
I'm going to go back to the posting of jobs and you looking, the jobs, has there been certain jobs that you have talked with someone about?
I've interviewed a couple of times, and just never really felt like, I don't want to jump out of the frying pan into the fire.
One more glitch. We're there yet.
But for right now, I'm just sort of stuck where I am, and so I just need to develop some outlets for the frustration and just kind of, because like I said, there's a lot of perks to being close to home. I can run home on lunch hour. I eat healthier. If my car breaks down, I can walk to work when the weather's bad. So it isn't all terrible.
Right.
When you look at the job as a whole, you don't want to give up the 80% that's good to get the 20% replaced that's bad. You just want to work on that 20%.
Well, there's some areas that I think would be helpful. The first thing that pops into my head would be get with someone and let them go over your resume. There might be some things that you could get tweaked up. We also have folks that have skills as interviewing skills,
okay.
maybe giving you suggestions on maybe avenues that you have not thought about that you would be great at doing. So these are some, like I said, some
Okay.
suggestions that I
Okay.
think would be beneficial for you.
Okay.
And I'll get those names and
Okay.
numbers. We can call them today if you like.
Sure,
Or
that'd be great.
at your time, at your leisure, you
Sure.
should do that.
Sure, we could set that up today.
How's
If
that
that's
sound?
That sounds great.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
so much. It's been a pleasure.
You too.